Hello everyone, my name is Stephanie Kidd. I am a math consultant for Kentucky Valley Educational Co-op, and we are glad to have everybody here today.
And I'm Vonda Adams. I'm also a math consultant here at KVEC, and I'm so glad to see all of you, and we're really excited about doing this little activity with you today. So what we're going to do is we're going to start in the middle of our story. You know, Doug and Chastity just shared the story with you, which is an awesome book, and I love and enjoy reading it to you, but for the sake of time, and since you just heard it, we're going to start in the middle of the book. Last Sunday, when I used to be rich, I went to Pearson's drugstore and got bubble gum. And after the gum started tasting good, I got more gum. And after that gum stopped tasting good, I got more gum. And even though I told my friend David I'd sell him all the gum in my mouth for a nickel, he still wouldn't buy it. Goodbye, 15 cents.
Okay, so you have 3 pieces of bubble gum in your pack if you haven't already chewed on it. Because I know some of you probably saw that pack and saw, oh, I see candy in there and gum, so I'm going to do that. But if not, there's 3 pieces of bubble gum, and it's 15 cents. So let's talk about that 15 cents first of all. Now, I can show 15 cents by 1, 2, 3 nickels. I can show 15 cents by a dime and a nickel. Or I can show 15 cents by a dime and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pennies. Or I can show 2 nickels. Look here, I said dimes, I'm sorry. 2 nickels and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pennies. So any way that you would want to do that, you need to take those out of your, good job, I see somebody holding up some dimes and nickels. Take that out of your your money bag and lay that out in front of you, okay? Now, another thing is, wonder how much one of these cost. If all 3 cost 15, do you see anywhere on here where you have just 3 coins? Look and see where you have just 3 coins. Do you see just 3 coins?
I think that first one would be the one we're wanting to find.
So each bubble gum cost a nickel. Do we see that? Look how great that is. So now let's go back here to our wonderful line here. We're going to use these 3 nickels. Or actually, I'm going to use a dime and a nickel for mine. You can use whichever one you want to choose. Like I said, it's not a big deal, whichever one you want to choose. We're going to mark 15 cents. Now the cool thing about this is, if you notice, you can count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you need to, do that. But 15 is 10 and 5 more. And we know that 15 is halfway in between 10 and 20. So we want to mark that. So right there at that darker mark, we're going to mark down. And we're going to write bubblegum up here because we need to know that's how much he spent. So go ahead and write that down there, bubblegum. I want to do it on both of these so that I can show you something in just a few minutes with the bottom one. So we've bought our bubblegum and we've spent 15 cents. That's what he spent. Now let's look at it from the other end. How much money does he have left? So I'm going to go up here on this one and I'm going to look at it and I'm going to say, okay, I've got 100. That's how much he had, was 100 cents, right? Because that's $1. And I'm going to go backward 15. So like we said before, I'm going to start at 100. I know that from 100 to 90 is 10, and I need 5 more. And 5 would be right here. So he has 85 cents left. Now I'm going to write bubblegum up here. Okay? This is just a good way for us to keep track of his money. So now he's spent 15 cents. Mm-hmm. He's chewed it up. He does have something, I guess, that he got out of it because he got his bubble gum.
Yeah, but it's gone. All the flavor's already
gone. So he's down to 85 cents.
Yeah.
Let's see what else he does.
Last Sunday, when I used to be rich, I bet that I could hold my breath till 300. Anthony won. I bet that I could jump from the top of the stoop and land on my feet. Nikki won. I bet that I could hide this purple marble in my hand and my mom would never guess which hand I was hiding it in. I didn't know that moms made children pay. Goodbye, another 15 cents.
So just like before, all the ways to make 15, I've got them laid out here. So you can use, of course, we talked about he made 3 bets, didn't he? So he made 3 bets, so we could do 3 nickels, that's 15. Or I can do a dime and a nickel. I can do 2 nickels and 5 pennies. Or I could have done a dime and 5 pennies. Now you choose how you want to take your money out. And you go ahead and do that. We're going to add up the amount that he has. So 15 plus 15. If I need to, I can break that down again, 10 and 5. So I can do that big jump to 20 from my 5 and another big jump to 30 for my 10. And that's going to make 15 cents. Now what did he do to lose this money again?
Well, let's see. He bet that he could hold his breath till 300. He also bet that he could jump from the stoop and land on his feet. And then he also bet that his mother couldn't guess which hand he had that marble in. But I guess she guessed.
So we're going to put bets here because that's how he lost his money. I'd like to do this in a different color so we can really see it. And I made that mistake. But that's okay. Because we do that sometimes in math. And the big thing is we just need to correct it. So I'm just going to color over it. This amount was in bets. Now again, we've got to come back and see how much money we have, right? So we're at 85. I can come back 5 cents to 80 and another 10. I can come all the way back to 70 and 70 is where I'm at, right? So that would be bets. And so I'm going to draw a line down here. I'm going to put 70 cents. And this is bets. Okay.
Okay.
We're trying to keep up with this.
I was absolutely saving the rest of my money. I positively was saving the rest of my money. Except that Eddie called me up and said that he would rent me his snake for an hour. I always wanted to rent his snake for an hour. Goodbye 12 cents.
Look at this snake. He's so pretty. I'll put him on the big screen here. Look at this beautiful snake. And so for 12 cents, now if he rented it, do I get to keep him?
Nope, you have to give him back if you rent it.
So let's make 12 cents. That can be 2 nickels and 2 pennies. That can be a dime and 2 pennies. So that's the way, or we could do 12 pennies if we had those. And I don't have 12 pennies here, so I'm not. So let's do 12. And now 12 is 10 and 2. So if I'm at 30, I know 10 more is 40. And then I can go on up 2 more, which is going to be 42. So this is going to be my rented snake. I'm going to do the same thing down here. 10 and 2, which is 42. And I'm going to just go ahead and write this here so I can remember. Now, let's go backward. So, oh, that's harder. That's so much harder sometimes.
Yeah, but we can do it in tens.
So let's go back 10 from 70. 10 from 70 is 60 and 2 more. 1, 2. I can count that out and I'm at what? What is that number there? Can anybody tell me?
I think that's going to be a 58.
Miss Vonda says it's 58 and that's how much money he has left. All
Wow.
right.
It's almost half gone. And he still doesn't have anything to show for it.
Yeah, because half of 100 is 50 and
Yeah.
he's almost spent half of his money.
Almost.
And guess what? He doesn't have to show for it. Does he really have anything to show for it? He had to throw his gum away. He made bets, and now he's rented a snake. He has really nothing to show for it.
No.
Okay.
And some fines along the way. There we go. Anthony said, when I'm 99, I still won't have enough for a walkie-talkie. Nick said, I'm too dumb to be let loose. My father said that there are certain words a boy can never say, no matter how ratty and mean his brothers are being. My father fined me 5 cents for each saying them. Goodbye, dime.
Oh, so he literally lost a dime. But what else can I put in place of a dime? I've got 2 things I can put in the place of a dime. Well, one of those is, if he done it twice, would be a nickel. So he'd have 2 nickels, right? Could be in the place of a dime. But in this case, I want you to pull a dime out because that's what he really lost. So let's go right there. Oh, the cool thing about that is I'm at 42 and I got to add 10. That's kind of like where that skip counting comes in. And I bet your teachers had you to skip count before. So if I'm skip counting up from 42 and I'm adding 10, I'm going to go 42, 52. Okay, so that's where we're going to be at. Or we can just count up 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 52 is where he's going to be. And guess what he lost that for? Do you remember what he lost that for? Can somebody tell me?
I think that was fines, right?
Oh, he was fined for being mean, wasn't he?
Yeah, that's kind of like getting a speeding ticket.
Yeah.
If you go too fast.
Do you have
pay a
anything to show
fine.
for that?
No, less money.
No. Now here we go again. We're going to have to go back a whole dime. So just like we counted forward and we did 42, 52, now we're going to go backward. 58, 48. So we're going to go back. We're going to go to 48. Now that's all the money he has. He spent over half his money now. Because remember we talked about half of 100 was 50.
All right.
So he has less than half of his money
He
left.
does. Last Sunday, when I used to be rich, by accident, I flushed 3 cents down the toilet. A nickel fell through a crack when I walked on my hands. I tried to get my nickel out with a butter knife and also my mother's scissors. Goodbye 8 cents and the butter knife and the scissors.
I bet Mom's not happy with him.
I bet she was really aggravated.
So we're going to label this one lost. Now, he lost a nickel and he lost 3 pennies. So this is 5, 6, 7, 8. We can count up 8 from where we're at. And we're going to be at 60. So label that and lost. And that's where we're going to be at. We're going to be at 60, lost. Now let's go back 8 cents. So if I go back 8 cents and we're at 48, 48 take away 8 is 40. So now he's only got 40 cents left. And we're going to label this, I'm going to label this one lost too. Okay, I'm putting this money up here. Make sure you put your money up at the top.
Last Sunday, when I used to be rich, I found this chocolate candy bar. Just sitting there. I rescued it from being melted or smushed, except the way I rescued it from being melted or smushed was that I ate it. How was I supposed to know it was Anthony's? Goodbye 11 cents.
Now you have a chocolate bar in your thing. You can now eat your chocolate bar. But let's take that 11 cents off. So 11 cents is a dime and a penny, or 2 nickels, because they represent a dime too, and a penny. They represent 10 cents. So here's my 11 cents. You choose which one you want to move up. Now let's figure out where 11 is. 11 is a 10 and a 1. So let's do that friendly 10 jump from 60 to 70 and a 1, which makes us at 71. So that's where he's at for that one. And what did he get with that? A chocolate bar. But it was kind of smushed.
Yeah. Well, he was rescuing it.
Do you like smushed chocolate bars?
I do. I like any kind of chocolate bar.
Now let's go back. Let's see how much money he has. So again, 11 cents. I'm going to make the big jump of 10. So from 40 to 30, and then one more. I'm now at 29. Oh wow. So I want to move my money up here. So I've kept up with that, and I'm going to write chocolate bar right here. Now he has less than a third of his money.
Yeah.
Because I can divide this into thirds, and this would be 33.3 is actually his
Yeah, he's below that
third.
now.
So let's see what happens to his money.
I absolutely was saving the rest of my money. I positively was saving the rest of my money. But then Nick did a magic trick that made my pennies vanish in thin air. The trick to bring them back, he hasn't learned it yet. Goodbye 4 cents.
Okay, so 4 cents. I have to do that with my wonderful pennies, because 4 cents is not as much as 5, and that's our first thing for a nickel. So 4 cents, we're going to be right at 75, right? And this is our magic trick. Or you can put MT if you wanted to. So go ahead and draw your line and put magic trick. Let's go backward. Now I'm at 29. If I go back 4, like I said, I can count, or I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And where am I at? If I'm halfway in between, I'm at 25. So he only has 1/4 now of his money.
Man. Wow.
And you know how I know it's 1/4?
How?
Well, because if I have $1 and I have quarters, there's 25, 25, 25, and 25. There's 4 quarters in a dollar. So now I know he's at 1/4 of his money.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm putting my nickels, or not, pennies up here.
Poor old Alexander. Well, Anthony said that even when I'm 199, I still won't have enough for a walkie-talkie. And Nick said they should lock me in a cage. Well, my father said that there are certain things a boy can never kick, no matter how ratty and mean his brothers are being. My father made me pay 5 cents for kicking it.
That's a nickel. Or 5 pennies if you've got it left. I don't have any more pennies left, but if you've got 5 pennies, you can use that. Move your nickel up. 5, if we are counting by 5, 70, 75, next would come. What do you think it would be, Miss Vonda?
80?
It would be 80. And I'm going to mark these two. And this was because he got in trouble for kicking.
He was kicking. That's like a fine, right?
That is like a fine, kind of like he got fined earlier for the bad words, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we got to go back 5. Again, if we were at 30, we went to 25. It's kind of the same thing, counting forward or backward. So 30, 25, 20. So we're going to mark this one here.
Wow, it's almost gone.
And he's at 20 cents.
Wow. Well, last Sunday, when I used to be rich, Kathy around the corner had a garage sale. Well, I positively only went to look. I looked at a half-melted candle.
Oh boy.
I needed that candle.
Okay.
And I looked at a bear with one eye. And I needed that bear.
Okay. We needed a bear.
And I looked at a deck of cards that was perfect except for no 7 of clubs and no 2 of diamonds.
So it's not really
And I
a
didn't
perfect
need that 7 or that
set of-
2. But I didn't need them. Goodbye 20 cents.
Okay, 20 cents can be 2 dimes if you've got 2 dimes. Or it can be 4 nickels. Or it can be 1 dime and 2 nickels. So guess what? That extra 20 cents that he had, if I'm going from 80, 90, 100, that's where all of his stuff went. So this is his garage sale items, and that's what we're going to label it. Garage sale items.
Man.
But you know what? Out of all of this, he ate the chocolate bar, which he did get. And he had the gum.
Yeah, but they're gone now.
They're gone. The only thing he really has is his garage sale items. So he doesn't have anything to show for his money except for his garage sale items. And are they good items?
Well, that candle was half burnt, and that poor old bear, he's lost an eye. And that deck of cards, he's got 2 cards missing.
And guess what? We're at no money, because when we come back to this one and we're going backward, he used all 20 cents right here on those garage sale items. So now he literally has no money.
Nothing. Oh, but he's got these bus tokens, remember?
Oh yeah, we've got bus tokens in his pocket. That's all he's
Yeah.
got is his bus tokens. So I guess he could go somewhere if he needed to ride the bus.
I guess if there was a bus to ride with those bus tokens.
That's true.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how he spent his money. Now I want to talk to you guys also about how to do a budget if we were going to do a budget. So the cool thing about the fact that we used his graph here is that it's 100, right? It's 100. Well, on this circle graph that I gave you is also 100. So we're going to look at that and we're going to talk about how we could also set up a budget if you were doing that. So our first one that we had was bubble gum. Now, if I wanted to fill this in, I'm going to start where we would consider 12 o'clock, which is straight up and down, right? So right there, I'm going to mark. And then I'm going to say, okay, it's 15. Now, like I said, there's 100 marks around here, so we can fill this in, and we're going to do 15. So if I start here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Right here is 15. Now I can put a dollar sign, a 0, and 15. I'm going to label this bubble gum. Guess what a decimal with 15 after it is?
I think that's kind of like a percent.
It is a percent. That means that he has spent 15% of his money on bubble gum. So, isn't that really cool? Because you know one of the things we do with a decimal to get to a percent is we move the decimal 2 places. So it would be 0.15 and we would move it 2 places, 1, 2, and that becomes 15%. That's awesome, isn't it?
That's because that's 15 out of 100, right?
That is 15 out of 100. So this is a part out of a whole, and that's how we look at that. So when we're doing what we call proportions, we do part out of the whole is equal to the percent out of 100. Now, in this case, our part out of the whole is 15
Yeah, that makes sense.
out of 100, or 15 cents out of $1, we could do it that way, is equal to 15% out of 100. Isn't that cool? Now, let's talk about this with our bets. We're going to add that up. He spent 5 cents on bets, right? Is that how? No, he spent another 15. So we're going to count up another 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So right here's where he's at for 15. Another 15. I'm going to go from the center out. Same thing happens again with his bets. Again, he spent 15 cents, which is 15% of his money. So now he spent 30% of his money. Can we see that? Can you see how this is working? Now the next thing that he's going to do is he's going to rent a snake for 12 cents.
Yeah, that's a cool snake.
So we're going to rent that snake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to mark that one. And we're going to do snake. The snake was 12 cents. I'm going to put my dollar sign there. So that is 12%. Now, if I was doing this for a budget at home, I would think about my electric bill. And how I would set that up is whatever my total amount of money that month is, or how much money I get for a total that month. So this is total amount that I get paid. Okay. is out of 100, because remember we said it's always out of 100.
When I'm doing percents, yeah.
And the part that I'm looking for is my electric bill. Now, I can determine how much my electric bill is by doing what we consider cross multiplying or dividing, or we could look at the electric bill is how much the part of it is out of the whole of my amount. And that will give me a decimal. And then I can convert that to a percent. This is how I can look at how my budget would be set up if I wanted to out of 100. So you can keep that in mind when you're doing a budget. You can look at it as a circle graph if you wanted to, and you can see if I can maybe take away some things, or if I could use it for other stuff maybe. Maybe I don't need as much internet as I think I do, and I don't use all of it. So I could bump my plan down and I wouldn't use as much money. Those kind of things, I could look at how much money I'm spending total and where could I actually pull some money back from. Maybe I don't need to eat out every other night.
Yeah. You could save some money that way.
Because I could break my grocery bill up into how much do I eat out in comparison to my grocery bill at home. So we could look at that. I could look at maybe if I wanted to, my trash could be put on here too. Well, we have to pay our trash bill.
Yeah.
And sometimes water, we could look at our water bill or a gas bill. However you made it, I may look at how much I spend in gas with my car, and maybe I don't need to go somewhere sometimes, and that can save some money. So those are the kind of things that we could look at. Or maybe I don't need to go to the movies because that could be recreational on here.
Oh, yeah.
So these are different ways that you can look at your budget and determine if you really need to use all your money on certain items.
Yeah.
So I want you can take this and you can fill out the rest of it, and you can look at it, and your teachers can get with you and talk to you about decimals and percents. And so these are some other things that you can do with it. Another thing that I wanted to show you, and your teachers can look at this later, is I can take this wonderful little item here and we can cut it up. And I want to just do that real quick and cut him up. I'm just going to cut one of them up, not all of them. Because I could make a circle graph out of this by just gluing the two ends together right here, and I can start to see what he spent his money on as we go around.
Oh, that's a
And
cool idea.
you can look at it that way. Another thing I can do is to determine how much money he has spent on certain things. We can make a bar graph out of this. So let's lay this down here real quick as a bar graph. And we can talk about what he spent the most money on. And I'm hoping that I wrote inside these really good so that I can see them. Sometimes I forget. So I'm going to turn this over so that you guys can see it a little bit better.
Maybe just put it on the table.
Think it would be better to put it on the table?
Yeah, because you're doing white on white.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, so let's turn these around. We're just going to put them on the table. Hand that to
That'll work.
Vonda. Now, so let's look at this, and we're going to create, if I was creating a true bar graph and I was gluing these onto my bar graph, I would be labeling each one of these. And I would have numbers up the side that would say how much. That
That's
way they can
important.
see that. And you know what? We can erase, can't we?
Well, sure.
So if this was a bar graph, don't tell Will that we wrote on the table.
Yeah. Shh.
Okay. So if I was doing this, I would label this bubble gum.
It's so important to label those graphs because if someone's looking at it, they're not really sure what you're talking about if you don't have it labeled.
And so I'm going to do 0, and then 10, and then 20 would be right here. And I could have numbers all the way up through here. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, if I needed to. And then like I can lay down, this is kicking. Look how I can do this. This is kicking. This is his magic trick. Looks like he spent about the same amount on that one, didn't he?
It does. Those look very close.
And then this is his chocolate bar. I'm trying to line these up pretty good. Because my line is not exactly straight there. Here's his lost money. Can you guys see this? How much of a bar graph we've got here?
Oh, look at that.
And so we've created a bar graph, and you can start to see where did he spend most of his money on. Now
I wonder what he spent most of his money on.
I want to cut this one off.
Look
And remember, you also want, I'm going to slide these over a little bit more so you guys can see them. So what do you think he spent most of his money on looking at the bar graph?
Oh, let's see.
I don't know if I can fit this one in, but we'll try. So if we're looking at this, what do you think he spent most of his money on? Which one's the tallest? I think it's garage sale because it's 20. This one's 15. And this one, not quite fit. This one's 15. So these two are the same. These two are the same.
That's
Because I
interesting.
cut this one off because we'll cut it off right at the 0. These two are the same. So he spent the same amount on his bets and his bubble gum. He spent more in fines than he did that he lost, because we can look at that. And his chocolate bar that he actually got to eat was less money than his bubble gum. But the most he spent was on the garage sale items. His magic trip cost him a little bit of money. I think that's probably the least amount of money he spent, because this is 5 cents for kicking.
Yeah.
The magic was only 4 cents. And he rented the snake for 12. So that would go a little bit above the fine, but see, you can put these in order. There's so many things that you could do with it. So keep that in mind when we're looking at these, when you're laying things out, to label them. That way you can go back and look at them. But always remember also, if you're doing a bar graph, you gotta have a title.
Yeah.
So we could title this Alexander's Lost Money.
Yeah.
And that would be an easy one for this one.